Hello and thank you for clicking on another one of my videos. I am Screen Scene Guru coming at you with a new Doctor Who discussion. This is for Classic Who, the 1963 beginning episodes. These are the Dalek episodes. Going in order, I've gotten a little bit written down here, but starting with the Dead Planet. We got to see the Doctor and his granddaughter Susan, along with her school teachers, arrive on this somewhat seemingly desolate, um, war ravaged planet, which they later came to find out is Skaro, the infamous homeworld of the Daleks, which was really cool. I figured we'd be going there given the title of the episodes was the Daleks. Um, so that was the beginning episode. Going into episode 2, titled The Survivors, we got to learn that they are not alone on this planet. In fact, it is populated by a somewhat humanoid species, which is titled the Thals. Um, and they have a somewhat way of surviving the desolate, harsh, barren conditions of their world. They have a serum that they inject in themselves, a certain type of anti-radiation drug, which was fascinating to see. This, given that it was '60s, they had developed stuff like this, but this was like a futuristic type to see, so that was cool. Um, Going on to episode 3, we have the escape. We got to see the Doctor and his granddaughter Susan and the school teachers were captured inside a technological advanced city on Skaro by Daleks, and they had to basically trick a Dalek into, I believe he was like returning a part, or he was turning a lever on a machine, and they got inside of the Dalek. And one of the school teachers we got to see drive the Dalek, and they moseyed around the perimeter inside, and were able to escape uh, by means of disguise. So that was really cool to see them basically fooling the other Daleks into thinking that they were being taken to a prisoner transport. Very Star Wars like. But moving on to episode 4, The Ambush, we saw that the Thals believed that the Daleks wanted peace after this, 500 years of war, constant. They explained earlier on that there was a neutron bomb exploded on the planet, which was interesting to see more, sci-fi, 60s sci-fi referenced. And of course, these were black and white episodes, but they were interesting enough for me to get through them. With William Hartnell as the Doctor, the first Doctor. Um, so after seeing that the Thals um, were courted into coming into the city limits by the Daleks, they were promised to give them food because the Thals were looking for food. They had left their secluded valley and were traveling outward. But of course, one of the school teachers stayed behind to warn the Thals of the upcoming attack and spared some of their lives. So that was interesting to see. Uh, then on to episode 5, the expedition. We got to see the Thals were basically debating whether or not they were going to go back into the city with the school teachers because they were trying to get this part for the TARDIS, this fluid link refilled. They tried to get find parts in the city for it to be refilled with mercury because the doctor claimed that they could not travel without it being fixed. So that's why they were in the city looking for this part. And then they lost it and they had to return to find it. So that was the expedition. Then the ordeal. That was, of course, fighting their way through the city. Of course, Daleks trying to get them. But they explained earlier on in the episodes They ran on metal tracks that the city was lined with, and the Daleks could not move. They could not travel outside the city limits. So they had somewhat um, the terrain, the topography was with them because they split up into groups and were able to go through the swamp, which was an ordeal with creatures, mutated um, creations of the Daleks in them. And we got to see them scale mountains to get behind the factory and make their way into the reactor room. And then the final episode 7 was the rescue, and that was the Doctor and Susan, his granddaughter, were captured by Daleks coming into the city with their first wave, first group, and the backup that had come through the mountains to the reactor facility had to come in to rescue them, to free them. They fought with the Daleks because they explained they'd given the Daleks medicine to help them, but it was the anti-radiation drug, and it was actually killing them. So that led to them turning on their reactors and firing on about their radiation and basically making messes things up on Skaro again. But the Doctor was able to stop it along with the Thals. They basically pushed one of the Daleks into the reactor, causing it to misfire. All the Daleks shut off, kind of went into a stasis mode. But for those of us that are Doctor Who fans, you well know that the Daleks reactivate. They come back, and they are quite a formidable foe. Some would say the biggest foe for the Doctor. So it was cool to see their inception, their origin. I'm moving on to, I believe, the next couple episodes, last two on this 3-disc set is Edge of Destruction, something like that. It's a 2-episode story, so be checking out for that title coming out along the lines in the next few days. But thank you for clicking on this video. Make sure you are liking the videos, subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed already. Follow me on Instagram under the same name, Screen Scene Guru. Thank you very much. Let me know also, have you guys caught classic Doctor Who? What are your thoughts on, the vintage stories? I think that some of them are fascinating, given that, they're given one story titled, but they're multiple episodes. Some going as far as 6 and 7 episodes for their stories, which is really cool to see. Where modern Who, we get to, a few stories and then the season is done. For instance, the classic Who, I've caught some of the episodes on Disney Plus, but I haven't watched all of them, and I certainly haven't seen the holiday special. I didn't hear good enough news about it to watch it, but I'm probably going to be checking it out. So keep an eye out for the channel for future Who news, Doctor Who fans. But thank you again, and as always, have a good one.